Lucasfilm loves their secrets, but are some things so obvious that you can't keep them a secret? We'll talk about it on this episode, so welcome back, everybody, to the Resistance Broadcast. I'm John. Thank you for joining us on this Monday. It is March. We are in the month of March, which means spring is around the corner. We're turning the clocks ahead. More sunshine, more twin sunsets. I don't know if they do.
1 month closer to celebration.
Do they do daylight savings in the Star Wars galaxy? Has that been confirmed? They're farmers.
We
right?
shouldn't even be doing it in our galaxy.
No, I disagree. I like the longer days. I like more.
I feel like you said this
sunlight.
in the fall, James. You were like, I hate daylight savings.
Yeah,
I think he's got it mixed up. He hates it
sense.
when we turn it back, when it's dark at like 4:30.
He says it just should be the same at all times.
Yeah, it should just be the same at all
later.
times.
Yeah, later. Right.
Well, I don't know which version you would go with. Like, would you constantly stay in normal time or whatever? But yeah, the idea, it's more for the morning. Like, you're getting daylight in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you're turning the clock ahead, and they call it daylight savings because you're getting more time with the sun while you're awake.
You know what it makes me think of? Daylight savings? National Treasure. Where he's like, do you guys not know this? The like helper guy, Justin or whatever his name is, and he's just like, what? He's like, daylight savings was invented for World War II, so the time would be this. Nicolas Cage is like, and like, yeah.
I bet that movie's full of nothing but facts.
I think first of all, I think this is a fact. Oh my God, did I just say something stupid again that's just made up in a movie? I swear to God, I think it is real.
Well, did you know the daylight savings affects what day your birthday falls on? So
when I hear
I almost just swore right there. I almost just swore. I got so close. I haven't sworn in forever.
For movies, I think of Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
Lacey.
with the sunrise?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
with
it's
the
like
car.
his trump card. He's like, there's one thing I know that you don't know: daylight savings time, and the car lights turn on.
Yeah, that's a good example too. We should do a Kessel Run on movies with daylight savings. Right?
Bad movies that talk about daylight savings.
Shut your mouth. You shut.
So speaking about daylight savings, the thing finally happened. It finally happened, and people are starting to report that Liam Neeson's going to be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
That was a terrible segue, but continue.
We all knew this was coming. We all knew it was going to happen. Someone was going to take the shot because, in my opinion, this is probably the most sure, safe bet thing. When we did a safe bet episode last summer, I think this was one of the top ones.
So was Cad Bane. Surprise!
Liam Neeson coming in for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So people are starting to report it. I don't know. Maybe they have sources on it. Maybe they don't. But either way, people are starting to report it, and people are like, "Oh my God!" But if he doesn't show up, I think it'd be an even bigger surprise. But I think we can all assume safely that he's going to appear in the show, right?
I kind of want to start just putting out sources tweets. Like, my sources are telling me.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that's kind of the thing is like right now for most people, that's just a safe bet as in like, it seems like an obvious guess. But at least if the reports are starting to come out, at least maybe you could assume that somebody finally did hear that obvious thing, and no one had no one had done it yet. So they're like, well, I guess I'll run with it. Before it was like a guess. Now I'm hearing he's actually involved. So it's like, I guess I'll be the one, to run that report. Right. So people are going to do it. But it always kind of makes you question, though, like, why didn't somebody who lies on social media just have done this like 2 weeks ago, Just like, I'm hearing he's coming back.
That's what I'm saying. I want to start putting out tweets that are like, my sources are telling me that Luke Skywalker's wearing purple pants in the newest show.
James's background has you thinking all purple.
Yeah, I know.
Here. Yeah.
It looks good though.
So we'll see. I doubt they're gonna do one of those. Well, it's out now, so we better confirm it. I think they're still gonna try to save the surprise.
They love a good surprise.
Which, if they said he's coming back, I'd be fine with it. I don't need everything to be I can't believe it. I can't believe they did it.
I would be bummed if they said that he was coming back, because it's like as obvious as
Are you going to be surprised if you see Qui-Gon Jinn show up.
I'm going to be 1.001% more surprised if there wasn't a report that said it's fact, it's happening, right?
So you can't even quantify that. 0.001. You can't feel that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Feel that level of surprise.
It is better if there isn't a report that says this is happening. Right?
I don't know.
No?
I just don't know anymore.
I've been seeing more and more tweets saying that fans are in the show because it was in that report. I'm excited to see who's in there.
Who's in where?
Apparently
Obi-Wan.
Jerry from Parks and Rec. But who knows?
The bottom line is your focus determines your reality. And our focus here is on Star Wars news right now. So, James, take it away.
It's the Resistance.
That was a better segue. Well done.
We got some sad news right at the beginning. We don't want to have to report it, but it happens. We're saying the passing of Alan Ladd Jr., the Fox executive who backed George Lucas years before Star Wars. Years before American Graffiti. Like he made the bet on George Lucas and was hoping that even American Graffiti was good. And then when he did, he's like, oh, I'm starting to feeling a little bit better about that one. And then like just nobody trusted George, and he was one of the original gamblers when it comes to the artist and having faith in having faith in the artist as not so much like the property or what they're working on or anything like that. And in the days or years leading up to his death, too, his daughter has been working on this documentary that like has gotten everybody he's touched over the course of his entire career in Hollywood to put together this documentary, and as it's coming out or getting ready to release, it's like he passes, and it's just so very unfortunate. But I figured
the documentary's been out for 4 years.
Oh, it has?
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. I saw the trailer for the documentary in your article, and I watched it.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, check out this trailer if you haven't. It's out there, it's available on streaming.
And one of the things I noticed about it right away is that she obviously wasn't talking about her dad like in past tense. Like, it's like, my dad is alive right now. And I was thinking, oh, this is like leading up to, that's my fault on understanding when the documentary came out. But still, Alan Ladd Jr., just massive force in the industry as a whole, but very specifically for Star Wars. And I thought we'd take a second and just talk about him. John, you probably have a lot to say, but actually I wanted to start with Lacey on this one. Where
Really?
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the passing when you saw it, and like how much do you know about his involvement and stuff?
I'm flattered you'd start with me. I just figured you'd start with John because he wrote the article and everything. So I read a book a while ago, and I'm blanking on the name now because I wasn't ready to go first.
All good.
So anyway, it's about people that don't conform to what the norm is. And he was one of the chapters in the book, which was about like, it was him. And then there was also a chapter about Seinfeld. And it's basically about how people, there's always one person that takes risks on certain projects that if they didn't take the risk, you'd never see it. And it is really great because it was just like basically showing you like, hey, don't always follow what should be done, like follow kind of your gut of what's right kind of thing, especially when it comes to like marketing and business and stuff. It's a really good book. I will put it in the comments of what that book is. Anyway, it's very sad, obviously, that he passed away. He lived till 84. That's a great life to live. I hope I make it to 84. And the fact that it's really inspiring to hear stories where someone is willing to stand by what they believe in and go with their gut when no one else will. And I can't help but think of like the Lady Gaga thing where she was going around saying like, there's 99 people in the room, or 100 people in the room, 99 say no, and one says yes. That's literally what this is. And it's really cool to see that he was willing to just say, you know what? let's do it. I love it. It sounds great. Let's try it out. Although I did kind of laugh a little bit in the article because there was the quote from George Lucas who's like, he knew talent and I'm talent. And I was just like, oh, all right. I mean, I wish I had that confidence, right? Like you wish you could go into a room and be like, I'm the guy. That's me. I'm the guy. He's correct. And maybe someday I'll get to that point, but not today.
I would imagine if you like created Star Wars and you'd probably be like,
I'm the guy.
You kind of debated a little bit.
There's always
I think you could safely say like, I'm a talent tour de force, in the movie industry.
Of course. And he has every right to say it. I'm not saying he doesn't.
No, I got you.
I'm just saying I could never picture myself with that kind of confidence, or like someday I hope to have it, but walking into it and be like, I'm the guy.
Remember our first episode we did with J.W. Rinsler? We had asked him what George was like, and he's like, he's very funny, but people assume he's not direct or like demonstrative. Like he will tell you exactly what he thinks and stuff, and he's very linear. He doesn't work around things. He gets to the point, and that includes talking about his achievements and stuff. He's very matter of fact. It's not even like, look what I've done, and that's how he's just like, yeah, I'm talented. I'm confirming that, and he believes like it's just like.
I just had a moment of sadness. You saying J.W. Rinsler there.
Yeah. All these people are dying. That it's sad. It is very sad.
Yeah, but like when you brought his name up, I had like a moment of sadness.
I know it's.
Yeah, no, it's cool to hear about how this whole movie came to be in the process, and I've watched all the stuff about the editing and everything, but it's just so wonderful to hear about something that you care about so much, that the people that worked on it cared about it a lot, and that every single person that collaborated on the project, which they always say it's one big collaboration, came in because they cared. And I feel like oftentimes when I get attracted to a movie or a TV show or a book or whatever, some type of media, it's usually one that people really, really care about. And I'm not saying that people don't, but I feel like there's a difference level in caring sometimes. And this one was just, I feel like Star Wars is on another level. So.
Well, John, you wrote up this article, and it was getting a lot of high praise, even from some big people who have directed Solo.
Go ahead. Do it.
Yeah,
John's blushing, audio people.
Well, I'm not going to say it, but yeah.
No, you actually are, but go ahead.
It was cool. Yeah. Ron Howard retweeted it. That was cool.
Aw, John.
But which means he read it, because I don't think he would retweet something without making sure it was good or legit or not offensive or inappropriate or anything. So that is cool.
And didn't Mark Hamill read one of your things last year?
The Carrie Fisher one, yeah.
You're on a roll, bud.
I know. Like, someone call me, please.
Ron, please come on the show.
Ron. Someone. Ron. Yeah. Can I write something?
You retweeted us once, Ron.
Yeah.
Please.
Makes a little too happen, man.
You retweeted twice, technically.
No, but
twice.
Yes. So the Alan Ladd Jr. story is crazy because I learned a lot in writing this article. Obviously the documentary Laddie, which Steven Stanton had told me about years ago. He's like, you got to watch this. You have to watch it. He's very like all about the history of Americana and cinema and that sort of stuff. When he was on our show, he like gave us a lesson in that stuff for sure. But just realizing that this guy was, way beyond the scope of just the guy who took a chance on George Lucas. Like all of his films, like 150 Oscar nominations, 50 Oscar wins. Braveheart has just one that he produced. And you can go through decades of time that this guy was that person. And in my article, I kind of put like, this guy is the reason Star Wars exists, yet he could walk the entire floor for a full day at Star Wars Celebration and probably wouldn't be bothered by anybody. Because he just like would blend in. Probably no one would recognize who he is. Like, we would probably get, as stupid as it sounds, we would get recognized more than the guy who actually is the reason why Star Wars exists. Yeah. And that's the crazy world we live in today. But the reason I say that is just because I wanted to make sure people, including myself, understood the true scope of this, because when you think of Star Wars, you think, oh, the most successful movie franchise of all time. This guy, oh, cool, he did that. But back then, like, he must have been under so much pressure because everybody at Fox was against his decision. American Graffiti wasn't even going to come out for 6 months after he made the deal with George Lucas. So in early 1973, Lucas is in his late 20s. He just finished American Graffiti and he was showing it around to studios. They liked it a lot, but then they were looking for their next movie, and this is before the days of sequels. I don't even know that a sequel had existed at this point yet. I don't even know that The Godfather 2 was out yet at this point. But so they're always looking for a new, fresh idea. It wasn't IP stuff. It's not like the way today it's like the machine. Like we praise Kevin Feige, but that stuff is plug and play at this point. Like Spider-Man is too big to fail. You know what I'm saying? Like those movies are going to be successful and they know how to.
It is the number one character.
Yeah, you must have missed The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Still made a lot of money. That's all I'm
Because
saying.
everybody went to go see it and was like, ugh. Oh my
Still
God.
made a lot of money though.
I get it.
Yeah, but so he takes a chance. He gives Lucas $20,000. Lucas is literally starving at this point, and he's like, "I believe in this movie, so let's do this thing. What is it called?" And he's like, "It's just going to be a space adventure based on like Saturday matinee serials." 6 months later, American Graffiti comes out, becomes a big success, and then Alan Ladd Jr. looks like this made a smart decision, but he has to sit on this for 4 years because Star Wars doesn't come out until 1977. And he has this whole team at Fox, all the board of directors saying like, this kid sucks. Like, what is going on? What this space thing? Everyone was laughing at it. Spielberg didn't necessarily love it at first. All the stories that you hear. But the fact that he took a chance on him, it's just like it changed cinema forever. And it's just like he didn't have to take a chance on him. He's already the head of Fox. He wasn't like some guy who's like, this is my one chance to make it as an executive. He's already at the top of the mountain. Mm-hmm. And he just, and that's the most impressive part about it, because I don't think you see that ever happen today. And if you do, it's rare. And I put that in the article too. And it's just like, I understand how things have changed. And I'm not sitting here saying like back in the day, because it was before my time too. But I appreciate history and I appreciate character. And this guy definitely had loads of it. And the fact that he gambled on George Lucas paid off for everybody. And, I just want people to understand who this guy was and how important he was to the franchise, because we're always talking about all these things and people are fighting about the in-story stuff and the recency effect and Rian Johnson this, J.J. Abrams that, all this stuff. Go back to the bare bones of this thing and how this was started, why it was created. It was never supposed to be taken that seriously. Lucas wanted to make some sort of a space adventure Saturday afternoon romp, and he did, and it evolved into something else, of course, under his own watch. But the fact that this guy took a chance on a sci-fi movie that was going to be different from every other sci-fi movie, because it was a sci-fi movie based on hope for once and not like the destruction of humanity, it's all just an amazing, amazing story. And I mean, Alan Ladd Jr., man, it's like just like not one of those, sadly, not one of those household names, but this guy is legitimately one of the top, if not the top, most successful long-term person in movie history, and he changed everything forever. He created the blockbuster. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny in a way that now that Star Wars is a part of the formula, it sort of created its own monster in a way. But back then, it will always be what that was, and it was the belief in a person, in George Lucas, when like Lacey said, nobody else did. And I think that's a part of what pulls people to Star Wars to this day, is that they know what it was rooted in. And I like to think that the people involved with it want to make sure it stays true to that spirit. And Alan Ladd Jr. is the reason for all that. So rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. As we move on to the next story, I'm probably going to bounce right back at you, John, as we learned a little bit more about the show Andor, possibly bringing on, veteran Scottish actor David Hayman. I mean, I say possibly, he's confirming the role. But what I find interesting about his regard is that he's like, we're doing this thing in Scotland, and it's like 500 people come in, and it's this massive crew, and it's like nobody in the area. It's like, what? I mean, I remember the reports of like people being in the town being like, yeah, like, no, we think it's cool. Like, it's really crazy that it's going on. But, his account of the situation was that it was supposed to be very secretive, but it was this huge thing. But he would walk around town and everybody's like, So there's only two possibilities you could be doing. It's either this like Wonders of Scotland thing that you've been known for, or Star Wars, obviously. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you because it's Star Wars, but no, he finally did confirm it with the Daily Record, and so now we know that this role is going to happen as well. There's also some other stories too. I don't know if you want to get into that too, but there's other like weird castings, kind of some announcements that we saw, but they were kind of rumors and behind paywalls and stuff. Nothing that Star Wars Newsnet could confirm. But it kind of seems interesting as we're getting closer to the release of Andor. I mean, Obi-Wan's sooner, but as we're getting closer to Andor, we're getting more and more details on some of that stuff as well. But what were your thoughts on this casting and the story in general?
Not a lot, only because I'm not familiar with David Hayman or the other casting that was reported, which was Rosalind Halstead. Mm-hmm. But anytime you put the three things together, old, white, and from the UK or British, I assume Imperial. that's my
Imperial.
guess.
He looks like he can be Imperial in the photo we used for the website.
And it's like when Richard E. Grant was cast in Star Wars. I don't know that he was announced first before we knew who he was, but everyone's like, old dude, white, British. He's probably First Order, and he was great. So, but who knows? This guy could be like a Lor San Tekka thing where he's like some sort of like old Jedi follower. Who knows? We don't know. But that's always my.
To me,
I always like say if
royalty.
If you're gonna bet on those things, I would bet anytime it's an old white dude from Europe, it's an Imperial. So
not to mention too, like it's like half of Star Wars most of the time. It's like if you're just like an Imperial, there's like 500 of them, and then there's like 10 main characters or whatever.
Yeah. What I do like about this is like that point you brought up about how they're like he's like this thing's supposed to be secretive, but it's just this massive undertaking that's just interrupting this town, and people are just supposed to be like, all right, and I think it's like the patterns we're seeing with like these older actors who have been around the block, they don't really subscribe to or care as much about the secrecy thing. They're just like, yeah, I'm doing a gig. It's like Stellan Skarsgård. He's like, oh yeah, Andor season 2, yeah, we're gonna film that this fall, and someone was probably like, you're not supposed to say that, we didn't even announce season 2 yet. What are you talking about?
None of these guys care.
Yeah, like this guy's like, oh yeah, it's so funny. It's supposed to be a big secret, and what am I supposed to say? Yeah, it's like so. Mm-hmm. I thought that was funny. Again, I don't know too much about him. I would, if I had to guess, and I know we have listeners in the UK, they probably are more familiar with him because I think he does a lot of TV over there, and maybe theater. I'm not positive, but I have to admit I'm not too familiar with him, but it looks like he has a lot of experience under his belt, so I'm looking forward to getting to know him through Star Wars. I actually will purposely not watch anything he's been in, so when I do get introduced to him, no matter who his character is, I see the Star Wars character, and that goes for this Rosalind Halstead as well. So, but it's a loaded show, 12 episodes, so there's a lot of room for a lot of people and new characters for us to be introduced to, and it looks like this might be one of them. But again, this guy could be in the show for 2 minutes, or he might be a big player. He might be our new Krennic. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to seeing the show, which is actually could be out as soon as 4 to 5 months from now. So
something like
it's not too far away.
Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned that right at the end. You're like, we never know how much they're going to be involved, but one of the last sentences in this article is, yeah, while his role remains unknown, the Daily Record refers to it as a key to the series. Lacey, what were your thoughts on?
I just want to say this, because that could be a little fugazi, because like Lor San Tekka had a key role in The Force Awakens because he gave Poe Dameron the piece of the map, and he was in the movie for 40 seconds.
You were just like the major domo in Book of Boba Fett. Excuse me, if I may.
My apologies.
Like, if they have any lines in the show, it's likely they were key, because if they just didn't deliver those lines, it would have been confusing.
Yeah.
People would have been like, what happened? What? Why are we here now? Yeah.
I think sometimes with the reporting stuff, like it just adds juice to your scoop or whatever
To
if you say it's a key roll. And then if they have something that you can say like, see, that's why it was key. That's why it was a key roll.
Yeah.
He dropped a key on the ground and he was on the screen for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Key roll.
He played Bulio's head. That was important.
Win the war.
Lacey, what are your thoughts on this actor coming
New
in
ally.
to be an Andor?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have much to add. I think John covered it pretty well. Again, I'm always excited when there's new updates. I do find it funny that he was like, "What am I supposed to say here?" Because there's only like one thing here, and everybody knows what it is. It reminds me kind of when I went to Ireland after Star Wars Celebration in 2016. And I stayed in County Kerry where they recorded The Last Jedi off the coast in Skellig Michael. And anywhere the crew stayed, there was like notes from the production team being like, thanks for letting us stay here. And the place I went to, they had it like laminated and on the wall that they were like, Star Wars crew stayed here. So I highly doubt that anybody's keeping that secret, you know, especially in these small towns and stuff where they're like, that is big news if they're shooting a movie there. Also, It's really funny just thinking about this article and like him being on location for this, because I feel like for weeks we were reporting different locations they were shooting this show at, and I can't wait to see all the locations that they're doing, because we were like, oh, they're on a beach. Oh, they're in a field. Oh, wait, now they're at a mountain.
That's so true. Yeah.
You know what else
it just
is
reminded
crazy
me
too?
of that. Yeah.
We watch like the Book of Boba Fett, and it's like they're using the volume and could literally go anywhere, and yet they're still on the
They're doing
planet.
location. I have to say though, like, look, the volume's great.
Get off the dumb sand planet.
Make Solo 2 happen.
I think the volume is wonderful, and it's done crazy things that you would never know the difference up close. But I feel like there is something to say about like the sweeping, beautiful landscape shots. So like, I am excited that they're shooting on location for this show. I think it's only going to add to it, but I'm interested to see how it compares to what we've seen so far with the volume.
That would be the key thing for me is this. The way they're going to draw it out over a long time. Like, it almost makes me wonder if Andor is going to be like 20-minute episodes, and it's like split up over longer episodes, whereas The Mandalorian was more like 40, but it was like only 8. It was like half the runtime.
So you're saying instead of like, hour-long episodes, you're talking like they take a movie and they split it into parts.
Yeah, well, even like Book of Boba Fett wasn't always hour long,
Right.
But those being longer episodes, 40 to an hour long episodes versus like 16, 20-minute episodes, which is more like a regular TV show or something.
And don't forget, like, I think Favreau had quite a bit of autonomy in how he operated. Mm-hmm. And both of the only live action Star Wars series we've seen so far were his.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we could get a completely different animal when it comes to Kenobi, which I hope we do, and Andor. And I love what we've gotten so far, but I'm ready for, let's see a non-Favreau live action Star Wars series, and maybe they are all an hour, and maybe Favreau wanted a 27-minute than a 40-minute episode. Maybe this one's going to be more structured. Yeah, so.
I'm being a little dumb right now. Was Kenobi only volume or volume and location?
I don't know.
Or we don't know.
As far as I know, they had sets.
That street set, right?
They had outside sets at Manhattan Beach, like nearby. But kind of like how Book of Boba Fett had the. It turned out they had like the Tusken Raider huts in a parking lot, outside of a stadium near there.
I think the Sarlacc pit too. I think.
Yeah, so they do that sort of
also
stuff.
Went off. Remember, they thought it was a fan film.
Yes,
off
Robert
the highway.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So I think they do some of it,
cool.
but Kenobi, aside from that street, I don't know how much they did. I mean, we'll find out. I hope they do a gallery on all this stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's difficult, especially in the US, to shoot anything without people seeing stuff. Whereas in the UK, I feel like they get away with a little bit more over there because there are those areas that like no one's living there.
But you don't going back to our State of Star Wars thing, and how I was just kind of like, you don't need to hide what Obi-Wan Kenobi looks like. We kind of have an idea, because it's like we saw set photos of Harrison Ford filming Indiana Jones 5. It's like, yep, that's Indiana Jones. That looks exactly like Indiana Jones.
In this case, it is a little crazy that they're just not like, hey, here's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But don't you think like Ewan McGregor's like, guys, do I need to be wearing this black garbage bag right now? Like people know what I look like.
I get for like new characters and stuff, but yeah, the ones we've seen are a little silly. It's a little silly to put them in the
Ewan
robes.
walk around in his outfit. Give people, oh wow, we got an exclusive secret photo of Obi-Wan. Here, get ready. He's wearing a tan robe.
I will never.
They want their
ever
trailer to be great.
Yeah,
they don't
Of
want
course,
people to watch the trailer and go, well, I already saw this from a set leak because they just let him walk around.
I'm just saying, Obi-Wan's outfit, are people going to be like, oh, I'm so glad they saved this different shade of tan robe for this trailer.
I forget what I was going to say. I'm having that kind of night tonight. I forget what I was going to say.
It'll come back.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, just to throw it out there too, like, you know, I don't think they're gonna do 20-minute episodes for Andor. I want to be clear on that. But it was just getting the conversation. Yeah, it's just getting the conversation started on how these shows could theoretically be different. And what's crazy right away is the fact that we know that Andor is like 16 episodes. So it's like, so clearly that, like, whatever they're doing. They're utilizing all of that on set budget, and they're doing 2 seasons of it, you know, or more. So it's like they really want to get their money worth out of those sets and stuff. And I don't know. That being said, though, we got another story here, and it's about Oscar Isaac visiting the Galactic Star Cruiser. I'm gonna quickly start this off because this was just really an ad, but we thought we'd talk about it a little bit.
I mean, we really haven't talked about the Star Cruiser since people went. We talked about it prior. We haven't talked about it since.
So one of the things that I'll kind of add into that is, I think as Star Wars fans that we're probably paying attention to what's going on at the Galactic Star Cruiser, and it's not great. Seems like people really like it, but they're all reviews are saying it's not worth the money. Like they wouldn't spend that money to go. Like it was cool and fun, and I had a great time, but the vibe coming off of this though is this was the first thing that, I don't know, connected like real Star Wars to me with this Galactic Star Cruiser, is seeing an actor from the actual movies involved. Sure. To this point, it's felt like it's only been like random celebrities that they've brought in, or like just families, or like Star Wars fans. You know what I mean? Like I haven't...
Lucasfilm employees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like those types of things are the things that have been advertising this. And what would be really cool is to see like Oscar, Daisy, you know what I mean? Like John Boyega, like if they 3 were there and they're like, you know, and like they didn't do that, but they at least got one of them, and he's there and he's talking about how he feels like it's a set. And he said, there's one line in this where he said, I feel like a Twi'lek's going to come out, and the guy's like, we have that. I was like, it felt genuine. Like, did he just call it? Like, I would have thought they would have told him everything about this before he walked onto camera, but it seemed very
excuse
genuine.
Excuse me, Mr. Isaac, can you say, is there a Twi'lek? Okay, and rolling? Yeah. That's what happened. I guarantee that's what happened. Hey, can you say this thing? Really? Absolutely, 100%. He had talking points. He went in there with talking points. Now, I'm not saying he did it by the book, like line for line, but I guarantee they were like, hey, man, can you say these specific things? They're trying to save face right now because people are complaining about the price.
Can I say something really jaded?
Wait, we'll get to that in a second, John. Hold on.
No. You don't know what I'm
about.
It's not your
turn yet, John.
No, but this is about... Do you... All right, I'll just say this.
No, John.
John, all right. Go ahead, John.
My God. Okay, go. Well, go ahead.
Well, let's do with... Well, the first thing... no, you just go ahead.
Wow. What is happening?
I don't know what he's doing.
Well, I don't want to say something that Lacey may say. I don't want to do that.
It's fine. Okay, look. So here's the way I feel about it. I appreciate that they took the time to get Oscar Isaac because he's wonderful and he's very attractive. So I will watch any video that he's in, which I'm sure they know because he's Poe Dameron and he's charismatic on camera like Pedro Pascal. They're BFFs. He's funny and he's attractive. So you combine all that together, you're like, oh, this is going to be a great ad. I get that. But at the end of the day, this is still a $6,000 trip. I'm not downplaying it to the people, or I'm not kind of trying to be like, oh, that's ridiculous, because some people, it matters to them and there's value in that. And if they want to take that trip, and I know some of our friends of the podcast have booked that trip, good for you. I'm so happy for you. I hope you have a great time. Majority of people in the country, in the US at least, cannot afford this trip, cannot afford this experience. And for Disney employees to talk to press and say, well, some experiences are just not for you, to me feels a little wrong, because a lot of the stuff that's on this ship was stuff that was supposed to be in the original park that they then took and put behind a paywall. And not just a paywall, a very expensive paywall. So it's really hard to watch these reviews come out, because at the end of the day, all these people got free trips and free everything. So not only they're getting a top tier of an experience, but they're getting it for free. So that's my opinion on that, because I know people have been asking me, I don't know about you guys, but asking me online what I think. I think a lot of people worked on this, put a lot of hours in it. It sounds wonderful. It sounds like a very immersive thing, like they said. I can't afford to do this. And I don't know how many fans can, to be honest, especially people with kids. Now that I have a kid, it's like, forget about it. I'll never go to this thing. That being said, James, I was poking fun a little bit with you. I do think they did feed him stuff. There's a reason they brought him in there. They probably were like, hey, we'll give you a free vacation if you come down here and do this ad.
Well,
but I think also he is probably amazed by it. Like you said, James, I think he is genuinely like, wow, the things they've done here are amazing. It looks like a set. Where are the cameras? I can't imagine this. This is better than I could have thought. Because he went in probably with no expectation, which we always talk about expectations here on the podcast between fans and stuff.
Or the expectations were lower than the high budget movie or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, it's going to be cool, but it's not going to be like a movie. And then he walks in.
And then he walks in and that's what he got. Yeah.
Can we be honest?
Okay, go ahead, John.
Oscar Isaac is not going to this thing if he doesn't have a brand new Disney Plus series coming out this month.
Or
that's
a check.
Why he's there. That's why he's there. He's there to get his name out there. Everyone's talking about Oscar Isaac, and he's got this show coming out. It's the same under the same umbrella. That's why he was there. He's not back in love with Star Wars. He probably still hates it.
No. Did anybody say that?
I'm talking to the point. I'm not talking against anybody.
I thought you were about to say I'm talking to the people. I was like, come on.
Well, hopefully someone's listening.
I thought you were saying that in like contrast to me saying like, oh, it was like the first time somebody looked like they were having a good time or something.
No.
Like this felt genuine or something.
No, he probably did have a good time, but
I think everybody that's gone has had a great time. From the videos I've seen and in the reviews I've read, people have had good times, but I think there's having a great free time and having a great expensive time.
Don't go on late night shows anymore to hang out like they used to, where like Don Rickles would just show up on Johnny Carson just to hang out. They go to promote stuff, and he's got a big, massive show coming out that happens to be under the same studio. And he's like, yeah, let's get Oscar's name out there. Get people watching him do this little video. It'll go viral because he was in Star Wars, and here we are talking about it. So
I'd love to go. If we were voting though as a group of who would go, I'd vote for James to go, because I feel like he'd go in with the most childlike wonder and enjoyment. It would be like Christmas for him.
I would pick me the last. I think either one of you would do a good job. Have fun with it. But James did do a good job when he was by himself at Celebration when you and I left, and he did all those like other
I'm just saying, because I've been exposed to a lot of stuff, varying opinions, and I feel like James tends to go into stuff with his own like, hey, I'm going to experience this. So I feel like if we were to vote who'd go, I'd vote James.
My comments on this whole thing with the Star Cruiser, I watched a bunch of the videos and checked out the reviews and stuff. And, the money thing, like it's been talked about, but after really taking a close look, like hundreds of photos, Clayton did probably the best job, in my opinion, for covering it from a media standpoint. Because
I loved all the little things that he did. Like the operating system on the ship is Wampa OS. Like I love that stuff.
He was talking to the Rodian and having fun there, but then he was also asking them, some serious questions on behalf of people. And what I mean by that is just like the general public wants to know certain things, and he asked the questions that maybe not everyone wants to ask, but that's why he's good at his job.
I think he also from what I saw with his coverage is he took a step back. He didn't go as a fan or like as a person on vacation. He went as I'm here to cover it so you know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in looking at all the coverage and all the photos and stuff, though, I can't help but feel like the design and like that permanent aesthetic of this hotel makes me feel like they played it safe. It doesn't look Star Wars to me. It looks like a space hotel. And my thought is, and I know this might be jaded, if it doesn't succeed or sustain, they have a failsafe to just convert it to some sort of space adventure, stock space adventure hotel, drop the price, and they don't have to rip everything out and gut of it. And they've done that with attractions before.
They did it with the alien encounter with Stitch.
Yes.
Yeah, they've done it with lots of things, like any theme park, even like our local one. It used to be called Top Gun because they had a Paramount license. Now it's called Flight Deck. Yes, literally, so they don't even have to take down the airplane visuals.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's Tom Cruise like at the front, and you're like, wait a second. They're like, nope, Flight Deck.
Yeah, and it's just like like next time you get a chance, like look at it again with that lens and just like look around at all the stuff. Like, because it's Star Wars, we see it as Star Wars, but when I'm looking at all this stuff, I'm like, that just looks like a stock like outer spaceship thing that can be easily converted if this thing doesn't work out. And I can't help but think that that was part of like the play it safe thing about this.
Yeah, I hear that. I would say if there was like kind of a disagreeing side to that, because I kind of agree with you, I think that it would be that you're playing in that prequel era, or you're playing in that like, this is what Coruscant looks like, or not like pretty high, or like Naboo or something. Like, this is what this looks like, and that probably didn't look Star Wars when people were walking into the Phantom Menace. They're like, what is this? This doesn't look like Star Wars. I need like the Rebel base, that's like has wires and stuff spread all over, and there's smoke coming off of everything. Like, this looks pretty and gorgeous, like I don't understand this. And I think that like sleek look is also part of Star Wars, but like when we saw Galaxy's Edge has a lot of the like, it looks like they just kind of built it or put it up together. Like, there's wires hanging out of things at Galaxy's Edge at Black Spire, but not on this thing. This thing is like just recently rebuilt to its like glory days kind of thing. Yeah. And so now it looks pristine, and that whole thing is kind of like Lando's Falcon versus Han's Falcon. It's like they're both Star Wars, but there's something about Han's Falcon that feels like Star Wars, and when you see Lando's Falcon, people kind of have a reaction to it a little bit, maybe. Like, that doesn't feel like the Falcon to me, kind of thing. This doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like a toy or a set or something. You know what I mean? So, so I would say it's kind of that, but
there's it feels like a restaurant I went to when I was little. So when I was in the Girl Scouts and I was little, we took a trip to New York, and there was this restaurant called Mars 2112. And if people remember, it was like, I believe it was right off of Rockefeller Plaza. I can't remember. But it was, you go in and you go into this, like you go in and then you go into this room, you take a seat, you ride a ride, like, oh, you're going to Mars. Mm-hmm. And you go on the ride, then you get out of the ride, and then you're in the restaurant, and the restaurant is all Mars themed. It's like you're on Mars, there's rocks, there's aliens that walk around. I loved it. Look, I loved it. I still remember every detail because I loved it so much, because it was like, I felt like I was in Star Wars actually when I was little, because that's what I liked. But to me, that's great. My problem is, let everybody experience it.
Oh,
that's
totally.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like, we haven't been on the record with this a lot, but we're all very much on the same page. Like, there's something about this that just feels weird. It's like when Disney has high-priced things, generally, it's like a special dinner with like Cinderella or something.
Or VIP
like,
tours and stuff, yeah.
Or yeah, sure. But it's like, if it's like character-based or story-based or something like that, it's like, oh, that's neat. But if I was a big fan of Cinderella, I can still go and get my Cinderella elsewhere in Disney.
Yeah.
And this is like, nope, you can only really get it here, and it all matters to the story, instead it's weird. It's like, and Cinderella's not, I mean, people like Cinderella, but it's not like a property they're going after. Like if they built like a very special Toy Story hotel that where only like it matters what happens in the story because it's all connected. Like if they built a Toy Story hotel, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like people would think it was interesting and fun to go like see Woody, but you would never feel like the canon mattered or something. You know what I mean? It's like there's something exclusive about it that is weird with this particular property they chose.
Why can't they make a Star Wars hotel where you can go and the cantina you go to is the Mos Eisley cantina? Or like, I keep saying that with all the Star Wars
I was going to
stuff.
say, you keep going back to like, why can't...
But wouldn't that be amazing? Because then
Harry Potter's
Star
so
Wars.
great. That's the thing, is that I can't help but compare, because I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet, guys. A couple more months, and I can talk on this with some knowledge. But the only experience similar to it that I've had is Harry Potter. And Harry Potter is so good. It is so well done. It looks amazing. I know that people aren't as in character because I guess guests complained that they were too much in character at times, that they've kind of dialed back that experience, which I thought was really funny. But other than that, like the whole park itself, all the stores, all the restaurants, everything, it's awesome. And it's open to everybody. Everybody can experience it. As long as you have a ticket to the park, you can go in.
I think
and they have different moments and stuff that you can experience. Whereas when we were given this presentation, when it was first announced, they said they were going to have battles with Rey and Kylo. They were going to have droids driving around.
Oh, Galaxy's Edge, you mean?
Yeah, Galaxy's Edge. They were going to have all these things that happened. And people have pointed out on numerous videos and sites and stuff. And I agree that they've taken all those elements out and put it in this thing. So yes, all the experiences that people had were amazing. And I would love to experience it. But it's kind of unfair that you promised this and then now you're not giving it, but you're also giving it at a premium price. In a crazy economy right now, by the way, in a crazy time of people cutting like certain costs, and like, in January, I think it's like 4 million kids are in poverty in the US. So it's like, it's hard to look at this price tag and be like, yes, sure.
Yeah. And there's nuance to it because, like you said, Lacey, we know people who are going, and, there's people who listen to our podcast who are going. And we're not just trying to dunk on it. I think we're just giving our honest thoughts on it. Like it was still really well made, and congrats to everybody who put a lot of hard work into this thing, and we all understand that. I think we're just trying to give a fair thought on the grand scope of the general public viewing this, and
Galaxy's Edge is a good example. Is the sense that like they do have that park that you can go to, and it's Star Wars, and it's there, and you can go to it, and it's really available for anybody. It's still expensive to get into Hollywood Studios. Not everybody can go. I get it. Not everybody is going to go,
but it's more attainable.
It's more obtainable, absolutely. So it's like you can go to that experience and have a good time, and you can see the Falcon and all this other stuff. But if that thing was $6,000, I'd be like, oh, well, I'm not going to that, Yeah. And I think that just that's the end of it right there. Is it's like, it's not about the experience or how good the experience is. It's just the fact that it's hit with such a high price tag. And then that's where all the scrutiny comes from, is because people go, oh, all right, well, maybe it's worth $6,000. And it's like, I don't think it is. Like, what would be worth $6,000? So what would be a Star Wars experience that was worth $6,000? It's like, maybe if it was the same parks, but like you got like 2 weeks of access or something.
Having your arm cut off by Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just that the price tag is the big thing that causes all the criticism on all of this. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Is that all you guys had for the Starcruiser at this point? Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Where we started, I never actually finished my thought. Now that I'm thinking about it, the Oscar Isaac thing. Like I agree that they probably fed him lines and stuff, but he was the only piece of advertisement I felt like was they kind of let him into the room and they were recording his reactions. At least,
yes.
Maybe it's fake, but like. That was the vibe that I got, is they were playing it off as like, these were his genuine reactions. We just like let him walk in and give his opinions on it. Whereas every other thing I've seen has felt like a paid actor or celebrity being like, hey guys, I'm here and I'm getting ready to go into the hotel. Let's see what's happening. You know,
a lot of mouth open shots.
I felt like all of that was very fake, you know, and this was the first time that I saw someone that I kind of respected their opinion going in, and the way they were interacting with some of the people that were showing them around. It felt a lot more genuine, if not genuine. Sure. It felt a lot more genuine than what we've been seeing out of all of their advertisements, especially anything with Gaia in it. And I'm like, oh my
somehow gosh. Oscar returned.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. Well, we had a couple other things that we wanted to run down really quick, and that was if you're familiar, actually, with our first story, kind of similarly, Lynwen Brennan, who was a visual effects artist, or has been for a very long time, has been in charge with a lot of things having to do with ILM and many other movies. She's going to be honored coming up here from the Visual Effects Society. So if you want to go to the article and read a little bit about the history of what this person has had on the film industry, and specifically Star Wars, go to StarWarsNewsNet.com and check out the article. And I guess congratulations to Lynwen Brennan. The other thing we wanted to do... What?
Lynwen.
What did I say?
Lynwell.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Lynwen, yeah. I was thinking Lynwen in my head. The Mandalorian is getting a Marvel comic adaptation. This particular thing is kind of interesting, considering this was a choice that they went with, in my opinion, because it's kind of strange they didn't move forward with like the Rise of Skywalker adaptation for whatever reason, and then they like canceled the Mandalorian book that was going to be like branch off from the story. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't understand where like certain things get their decisions made. Like they're like, oh, let's do an adaptation of the same story we've seen a few times now, you know, in a comic form. It's like I would have much preferred just like a Mandalorian side story comic or something. Mm-hmm. But if you are interested in getting like the artistic catalog in comic book form of The Mandalorian Season 1, it is going to be coming to Marvel. So you can take a look at that. And we've already seen like the cover and a little bit more information on it as well. So check that out. Lacey, that's it for the Resistance Report this week. What else we got?
All right, guys, it's time for the Patreon pod race. So there are lots of ways you can support us. You can like this video, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the audio platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure to leave us a review. That would be lovely. You can go to Twitter at RBATSWNN or on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast. But if you want more than that and you want to support us in a different way, you can head over to patreon.com/resistance broadcast starting at $2 a month. That's it, $2. You get access to the page, you get access to exclusive videos and much more, and just being a part of the community. And as you go up in the ranks, which is the different tiers, you get more access, cool benefits, and much more. So this is the part of the show where we let our generals and spice runners take part. So before we get into that, I do want to thank some people. So thank you to our Patreon generals: Carmelo, Jeremy Myers, John Reese, Jetta Rosewater, Paul Olson, Oliver Lewis, Frank Grande, Darth Hurricane, John Charlton, Nick Kratz, Christian Morales, Brian Smith, Matt Chitty, Nathan Shank, Danny, Mike Rumore, Matt Heath, Double C Chris White, and Val Trichkoff. Thank you guys so much as generals. And we have our Spice Runners: David Probus, Neil Shaw, Kendall Gelnar, Ryan Wara, Dave Hornack, Micah Harrison, Thomas Hennessy, and Andrew Staley. Thank you guys for keeping it spicy.
Thank you.
And so this week we have a new general, Mike Rumore. What up, Mike? Who's our buddy. We asked him a question and he gave us an answer. So his question was, you just got hired as Max Reebo's drummer. What is the one venue/location in Star Wars you would be most nervous to play from a security and safety perspective? So Mike, go ahead and take it away.
What's up, TRB family, and have I got some exciting news to share with all of you. I just got an offer to be the new drummer for the Max Reebo band. Yeah, and considering the past drummers he's had, like Oompa Stay and Akrev, I couldn't be more excited. He's got some regular rotating gigs on Tatooine, like Chalmers and this canteen out in the Jutland Waste at a place called Mos Pelgos or something. Oh, Freetown. They call it Freetown now. But there's this new place in Mos Espa, Garza Sanctuary. It's supposed to be the new hotspot and guaranteed to blow up with new clientele. But I had to turn them down. Listen, it's Tatooine. It's not Coruscant or Canto Bight. Heck, it's not even Maz's castle. You never know when a random shootout's going to happen or some enraged Wookiee starts ripping off arms. And frankly, don't even get me started about the sail barge incident. I'm trying to get to the bright center of the universe, not playing the planet farthest from. I guess I'll just stick with this house gig on the Halcyon Starcruiser. At least it's all the blue milk I can drink. John, James, Lacey, thank you for everything. Love y'all. May the beat drop on the one, and may the force be with you. Drum Jedi, out.
Nicely done, Mike. I really liked how you pitched this whole thing. It was really well pitched. Really well done. John, what did you think of his answer?
That didn't look like a first pod race to me. I don't know about you guys.
He told me he was nervous. Why are you nervous, Mike? You did great.
Wearing our Thank the Maker shirt. And however you do your laundry, Mike, that shirt's still looking fresh. My Thank the Maker shirt is beat to hell. So good for you. Maybe he's like, oh, I've never worn this shirt. I should wear it. But,
and it's blue too,
job,
for
man.
Max Reebo.
Yeah, that's the one I have. I have the blue one, but it's pretty faded up. But I'm surprised by your answer, but you didn't take the job. And you know what? There's other jobs out there. So you don't want to, limit yourself. Maybe Max Reebo doesn't pay well. Maybe he holds you to some contracts. I mean, James probably knows the ins and outs of being in a band and what kind of mess that might be. But I did get a kick out of your sort of brochure pitch. This new hot place in Mos Pelgos. Oh, wait, it's called Freetown now. I like
Freetown
that drop
now.
there. So great job, Mike. You had me laughing, and I really liked your answer a lot. And I had to go with the drumming thing for your first one, so you knocked it out of the park. Great job. And hopefully the Rays don't knock it out of the park when baseball eventually comes back, if it does, right? So, but thanks for all your support, man. Awesome job. Can't wait for your next one. And as always, we'll see you in the chats and stuff like that. Thanks, buddy.
James?
Yeah, I feel a little tired having gone on the journey. What place are we going to go to? And it's skipping around. And it's oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. What's funny,
you should be a
too,
travel agent for Star Wars.
Yeah, I never thought about it, John. That's a good point. What kind of gigging would be like in Star Wars. And I have thought Max Reebo seems like a pretty popular group because Ezra has Max Reebo posters in his bunk, on the Ghost. And I'm so he's pretty popular. How did he end up in Jabba's place? I was that has to be the sketchiest show ever for this person, because I don't think he's a low life character. I think he's a pretty well received galactic artist.
Big paycheck.
I think it's very high talent that is the price tag is high. So it's his booking fee is so high that he'll play these smaller gigs for a shorter stint, like a week at this, playing every night or something like that. Because usually he's also kind of in venues and stuff with shady money where they might have lot of money to spend on entertainment and stuff. It's how did they get this person? Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I just think he's probably a pretty good businessman, to be honest with you. But he's smart when he hired you as his drummer. So I gotta say, good pod race, and we hope to see more.
Great job, Mike. I loved your answer. I also have to give a shout out to John because he always tailors these questions to whoever's answering. And I really love that. This is a really good example of that. So thank you so much. I hope to see you at Celebration, which is coming soon. I believe you're going. I hope to see you there. But yeah, so now we're going to head back to John.
All right. Yeah, we're pretty much towards the end of the show. There wasn't much else that we had to cover really news-wise. I know there's been some talk about, future video games and what games are going to be delayed and that sort of thing. There's a lot of drama. I don't want to say use the word drama, but a lot of, issues going on with that whole Eclipse thing. That maybe we'll get into that next week as more information rolls out about that, because it's pretty fresh and not necessarily from official sources. So let that breathe for a little bit, and maybe if we get some more understanding, or maybe they speak to it, we get more clarity on that. But there's a lot of buzz about, oh, maybe they'll change studios and stuff like that. But the fact that they're saying 2027, 2028 is like, why even bother thinking about that game then? That's so forever from now.
I don't understand how you have all these graphics and stuff. Like it seems like a lot of work has already been done. But...
Like they release a trailer for a game that's coming out in a decade, but they can't give us a trailer for Kenobi. Because of 2 months. But that's buzz too. People are thinking there's a Disney. I don't know. These words mix into each other. It's either not an investor day, but it's a Disney Plus sort of thing on March 9th. So this Wednesday, and people are thinking maybe that's when they're finally going to give us that Kenobi trailer. But who knows? We'll see. If it hasn't come out, it may have come out today for all we know. But we'll see. It should be soon though. I mean, the show's coming out very soon. We're about 70 some odd days away from Kenobi, which means we're 70 some odd days from Celebration, Lacey. So,
which is nuts. We're going to be talking a lot about Celebration here in the next
month
and more.
Yeah.
I feel like we put out the episode, The State of Star Wars, and when I was doing the graphic for it, I was like, well, we talked a lot about Celebration, so I'll kind of make that like the lead here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I know we sat there and we talked about it the whole time, but sometimes when you talk about Star Wars, it's like using your knowledge and your brain to kind of do something, and it's not always hitting you like a reality kind of thing. I was sitting there making that image, and I'm going to the website and looking for like pictures of the crowd and stuff, and it was bringing back memories of like 2019, and I was like, this is like right around the corner. Like, we've been talking about this for so long.
I'm forgetting 100% with you, dude. I feel like we're not going.
Or whatever, yeah.
We've been saying for literally 2 years, like, well, Celebration's, around sometime.
Yeah.
For like
it's coming. Can't wait for that to happen. And then like all of a sudden you're like, that's next week.
Because they still need to, Lacey, am I right here? They need to do the, we never canceled it. But they need to do we just want everyone to know we are full go. We are go. It's happening. You are going to Celebration. I feel like I need that. I need to hear that from them.
An update would be nice. I mean, they did do the fan tables and the crew applications and everything like that. So I would believe that it's still a go if they're hiring people to work for them. But it would be nice to get a little bit more of an update, whether it be first guests or
hopefully
merch
soon.
Announcements or something, because I've said this since I joined this podcast, like it is the best thing for me. And I think that when I worked in 2015, the best thing someone ever said to me was someone from the 501st said, yeah, this is our Super Bowl. And I completely agree. I'm like, this is to me the best weekend of the year. It's the best event I've ever been to. And I can't stress enough that like it is just a blast. Like every second you're there is so fun. And I just can't wait because it's been so long and I haven't been anywhere, guys, in like 2 years. I haven't been out of my house in 2 years. I haven't gone anywhere. I had a baby, so I definitely haven't been anywhere. So it's like, I can't wait to just not be away from my baby. That's kind of mean to say. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is going somewhere would be nice. And I used to go to Disney like once a year and I haven't been in so long. That I'm just really excited to kind of do those things again and to experience Galaxy's Edge because we keep talking about it. We talk about the Starcruiser and I just need a baseline of like, get me into the land and experience those rides that all my friends have been on.
Sometimes
I'll love it. I'm sure I'll love it.
I'm always sitting here thinking like, I don't know if they're going to like it. Like they're going to feel disappointed
It's
or
one
something.
of those things too that, James, I'm going to love it no matter what because I'm going to be with you guys when I experience it. It would be a different equation if I was going by myself. But since I'm going with you and like people from the Patreon community and people from Celebration are going to be there, it's going to be a blast. We're going to have so much fun. That whole day I think going to be the highlight of my trip, going to Disneyland with you guys.
And I don't know I don't know what this actually means too for the podcast too, like we fly out there, we do the show, we meet with fans, we get that experience, and then we feel like we were in crowds and involved with so many different people. Maybe that kind of pushes us a little bit more to be like, it's time for us to do more of those things, more traveling and more events and things like that.
Yeah, if they have them, because for the past 2 years, they haven't really had them.
Like that, I mean, we've said it, people, longtime listeners for at least, 2 years now, like it was one of those things where we were like getting ramped up. We launched the Patreon. We had all these supporters and stuff. And we're like, yay, great things are about to happen. And then the whole world shut down. And we're like,
literally.
And so as a podcast, we're trying to like figure out what that means when we have supporters who want to see us, do stuff. And then at the same time, we're like, I don't know, like shut down.
There have been people who either work for or volunteer for, certain conventions that are going to be having like Star Wars people and stuff who have like messaged us and stuff. And some of them are happening right before like Celebration, so we can't do it. But we do really appreciate everyone who's been looking out for us and trying to help us out as we move back into that stuff. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's reached out and that's.
And we definitely want to go to other things. So as the world, we're seeing it reopen and like things are getting to a point that like we feel safe again. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
Great.
It's gonna be. It's a passion project.
All right. So that we gotta bring JJ back.
Every once in a while, someone will say like make a joke or something to me on Twitter, and I'll be like, "What are they talking about?" And then I'll be like, "Oh, that's from like 3 years ago."
Yeah. We gotta bring some old bits back.
People still randomly do that with band stuff too. They're like,
"Oh, really?
Remember this joke?" And I'm like, No. And they're like, you don't remember like Studio Update 3 from your second album? Like, I'm like, no. They're like, I watched it like 100 times. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, all right.
Sometimes I don't remember stuff we did like a week ago.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Going to be great. All right. Thank you to everybody for listening and watching, being a part of TRB. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you do subscribe to the show on your preferred platform, wherever that is, audio or video, youtube.com/Star Wars News Net videos, of course, Spotify, Apple, all of them. Share with a friend too. Spreading the word is the way we grow. So if you know someone who likes Star Wars, this is a really big Star Wars year. Let them know about the podcast, because a lot of people don't know about Star Wars podcasts. Some people don't even know about podcasts. So just let them know what we got going on here and join the party. So make sure you're also going to StarWarsNewsNet.com every day for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. Johnny Hoey on Twitter, writing and editing at StarWarsNewsNet.com, and my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. We are doing Batman Begins. That will be out tomorrow. Also on your favorite podcast apps, Just Like the Movies. James.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, both at Myra Trunks.
Lacey.
I just had a flashback of Celebration 2019 where JJ came out during that panel and started talking to the crowd, and I literally just heard John. That's all I heard, where he's like, thanks for having me here at the panel. It's going to be great.
This is so great.
It's really fabulous. Like we're bringing back the cast. And I was like, my God.
I think there was an interview where somebody was asking about him about something in the movie, and he was like, satisfaction or something like that. And I was satisfying.
Oh, satisfying. Remember they all kept saying that? Oh my gosh.
And I was like, and then like everything, he said that was like his first line, and then everything after that was like how John parodies him. Yeah. And I was like,
it's gonna be
my
great.
Gosh, yeah.
We were out in the desert and it was hot and
I was like,
it was awesome.
I thought it was funny, but I didn't realize how close to reality it was.
Yeah, when he's standing 10 feet in front of you and he's talking like that, you're like, I don't know, am I being punked right now? Because this is... Anyway, guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gilleran. Yeah.
All right, and Thursday we are bringing back the Kessel Run.
Oh.
So you'll have to stay tuned to find out what the topic is. But... if you don't know the Kessel Run, we put together a list of 12 things in honor of 12 parsecs, and we each bring a few to the table and put together our collective list on a specific topic in Star Wars. So we're going to have some fun with that on Thursday, but until then, enjoy your weeks. Hopefully enjoy a little bit of warmer weather if you're in cold territories like us, and we'll see you next time right here on the Resistance broadcast. See you around, kids.